So, imagine a reality, and the memories from the past 10 years of someone you loved after thinking they were dead was all fake. And the reason you find out is because you meet someone who is so similar to who you thought you knew in the past that they were actually them, and every action up until this point was calculated to make you fall in love with her again to activate a plot to take over the world. Yeah, that's Luv Wave. What's up, guys? I'm Level47 and welcome to watching For the Plot. Subscribe, more content coming your way. So this riveting series here called Luv Wave is a hit. I hate to say it is a hit. It's Cyberdeed 0808 level. It is Urotsuki Doji level. It is Ghetto Gakuin level. One could say it's phenomenal. I'm going to tell you why it is. So we are in, I would say, what, 2039, where we're relying on technology to a point that every single device, every single thing we operate with, our ovens, our cars, the trains, the utilities, are connected via satellite. And it's getting to the point where, hypothetically, if a virus takes over the entire network, it can disrupt society as a whole for the better part of a month and will just leave us in a post-apocalyptic barren wasteland. So we have a terrorist who has multiple women held against their will and assaulting them. Given this series I review, that's the MO here. And we see these mysterious jewel pods that he's just slamming back into his VR headset. And we're left to wonder, why is he doing this? Why does he have these women hostage? Why is the SWAT team just letting him do this for so long? Because he's gone through at least several women. You see dead bodies on the ground right now, and he just killed another one while we're watching this entire thing interact, right? And we come to find out that once they all get saved by Alice, the head operative for this hostage negotiation situation, she gets frozen because she sees the word Zen. Now, we don't find out till the end of the series, but Zen is, in Japanese, similar to God, I guess, if you say it. So the through line for this entire series is that the thing I mentioned before, if hypothetically happened, it actually does happen. And the Zen virus ends up taking over the entire network and threatens to have a hostile takeover unless the negotiations are met. You're just as confused as I am. What's Zen? What's a robot? What are these drugs? What is going on? VR headset, the future. So we flash to our main characters now, Kaoru, who is a secret agent, hitman, person guy, who has a sister named Mamoru, but that's relevant later on. He has dreams of someone he knew from his past named Mayumi, but we don't find out who she is until the end of the series. And we find out about his job because he's now on a mission to hunt down a rogue robot called Massey. When he finally finds Massey, hunts him down, gets him in a room, discusses with him. Massey flips it up on him and is like, I know you're hunting me. I know you're an assassin. I'm here to kill you. Well, surprise, surprise, Alice pulls up, saves Kaoru. We come to find out that Massey has gone rogue. He is the same MJP robot that Alice was, but due to circumstances that they tell us later in the series, Zen made him go a bit haywire. And on top of that, not only did Massey plan to kill him, but he leaked the assassination plot of himself to other people. So therefore, if Kaoru was able to escape Massey, he would have been killed by other people by other means. After the hypothetical scenario I mentioned previously, as in the world would just be a fire pit, a desolate wasteland. Look at this beautiful background because one virus took over the entire network that runs everything in the world. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? It happened for a month. We have Kaneko talking about Alice developing feelings now, some reason, because Zen happened. And I have to explain Zen now. So Zen is the ability to control the entire network. However, you're unable to do that unless you have a host to then upload your consciousness to the network and then rip it all up from the root up, right? And the host they find would have to be someone they completely control. Because if you don't have a host you can completely control, you are unable to fully manifest your needs. And therefore the best you'll get is just another bleep in the system and destroy everything. We find this out because that's later in the series. I can't spoil that. But Alice and Kaoru are going to be partners. And given the series that we are watching, we know exactly what that means or implies later on.
Kaoru さんを体で感じたいって私の中で欲求してます。私にセックスしてください。
Kaneko and Kaoru argue back and forth at the fact that Alice is now becoming more emotional, more, emotive, which isn't supposed to be what a robot does at this particular moment because she's meant to kill things, bust heads, whatever. To transition and prove Kaneko right, the next mission they have is to a guy named J.H. Brooks. Now, J.H. Brooks is one of the guys that is just going haywire on the forbidden drug called Ninth Heaven, aka MJP, which is the sole fuel that charges up and runs all these robots, like Massey and like Alice. But if you as a human took it,
脳を活性化する覚醒プログラムを仕込まれたチップさ。9種類に色分けされて、それぞれ効果が違うんだが、この9種類をある決められた順番と期間で使用すれば、完全な力を得られるとされてるわ。
But the downside is a very strict regimen. You can't really hold on to it very well. So they find J.H. Brooks. They go, hey, buddy, why are you like this? What's going on with... And then, surprise, surprise again. J.H. Brooks knew about this op too. He informed the security police, who has his sister on it. That's right. Is a cop. And that's important in one episode. And once they communicate and say, no, J.H. Brooks confused both of us, they go in there and they come to find out that Massey was controlling J.H. Brooks. Now, at this point, I get a little confused because we're here to hunt J.H. Brooks specifically because he has the capabilities to know more about Zen, to find out deeper what happened, since he's an AI software director for Digital Demand Corp. But at the same time, Digital Demand Corp wanted a hit on him. So that was confusing. But this happened because Massey, who controls J.H. Brooks, wanted Alice to be in his perimeter to jump to Alice to then activate his Zen plan at the final step. J.H. Brooks was never conscious to the hostage negotiation once Massey took over, because Massey is able to leak information, because again, he's a sentient rogue virus. Once he gets decapitated, Alice gets saved, Kaoru and Alice start bonding. Once they start bonding, we flash to new characters now because J.H. Brooks is now dead. But we need to go deeper to find out about this Ninth Heaven drug. Why are people taking this so much? Why do people love it so much? Like I mentioned before, it is tied to the robot's fuel, so therefore anybody who has an inkling of knowledge to how these robots tick, they would know how to get their hands on Ninth Heaven, aka MJP. So we see Dine, who is Dr. Wesmer's assistant. Now, Dr. Wesmer is a really important name that they just slightly sprinkle in the first, second episodes, but he becomes a crucial character in the third episode. So we see Dine here using the MJP and VR headsetting herself into a scenario where there are like 20 magic hands, like it was a Super Smash Bros, except, they're obviously not fighting. We flash to now Alice watching romance movies for some reason. We get to see Alice utilize her abilities as a killing machine to prepare to assassinate an unknown female target.
女性、武器傾向、確認。
Now, Mamoru wants to know more about Ninth Heaven, wants to know why Kaoru's secret agency, I assume he's the CIA for Japan, I guess, why Japan's CIA was so interested in J.H. Brooks. He didn't want to, divulge, given, she's just the cops, and that's not, you can't cross wires there. What is this, a family affair? And they basically argue about that point and move on. But remember Mamoru, okay? Very important to know. She's a cop who wants to know more about MJP. Now we find out that Stephen Mayhew, aka a USCIA head, is the one that was in charge of building Alice from the ground up. They told Kaoru half the story. Massey and Alice are one and the same. Massey was the alpha bot on Ninth Heaven. Alice is the final form. Now go out there and do us take a walk, buddy. Hey. This is future editing me. Man, this series is so confusing. I had to do so many post edits to even condense this into a video that you're consuming right now. So what Kaoru does right after being told that Massey and Alice are robots fueled off Ninth Heaven, a black market drug that's taking over the streets right now, he decides to personally try to get it stopped because his sister was investigating into it heavy, the smuggling of it. And he wanted to get that nipped in the bud real quick because he doesn't think his sister going into dangerous waters will lead to a good conclusion. Good thing he, suspected something, because if he didn't at all, then his sister probably would have overdosed and died. Kaoru has to talk to Kayoko, who can tell him where the trade routes are for the illegal smuggling of Knife Heaven. They find it and come to find out Mamoru was captured and kidnapped and tortured and other synonyms for assault. After a night shift nurse's anal waterboarding, we come to find out that the op to rescue them is off the books. It's Alice, it's Kaneko, it's Kaoru. They go in there, guns are blazing. She pulls up skirt rockets. They save Mamoru. She's comatose for basically the rest of her life because she OD'd on this mysterious Knife Heaven, aka MJP. And we move on to the third episode, which is now on to finding Mayumi's core. And you can't do that because Alice has now gone rogue because...
やっと奴の居場所が分かった。ブルックスが死んだ時、奴は一番近いニューロンタイプの頭脳に憑依したんだ。アリスだ。マシーはアリスの中に潜んでいる。
そんなシステムエラー。違う。タスクに割り込み命令。制御不能。
When that hostage negotiation happened with J.H. Brooks, Massey, aka Mayumi, was remaining dormant until I guess a moment of vulnerability activated. And once she activated, they of course have to have sex, obviously, given this entire series. And then, what sucks about all these post-edit I'm making, edits, whatever, is that, it's like the 4th, 5th one. The last one I just made, it caused me to delete 20 minutes of audio because it's irrelevant now. Because I've discovered the plot while I was editing the entire video. That's how kind of deep and intricate the shit is. So after Alice is discovered to have Massey inside of her, she doesn't necessarily reveal it to Kaoru, her owner, partner basically. So therefore, if you don't reveal that, you can fully do whatever you want. They end up fucking, and then once that happens, her personality resets. Alice exists no more, fully under the control of Mayumi to activate Zen and take over the world.
今夜、僕は神になれるかもしれない。親父がそう言ってた。僕を殺してくれ。殺してくれ。殺して。殺して。
So that clip, by the way, hi, future editing me. Yet again, bitch, you guessed it. So that clip suggested me, and what I alluded to like 2 seconds ago is that it took 10 years to finally get this project up and running, because 10 years ago, back when they were in high school, back when he actually had a relationship with Mayumi, fake or not, they're presupposing, that's the right word? No, they're presupposing that her being quadriplegic is true, because when she was talking to Kaoru about what is going to happen the next day, he's basically telling her, I'm going to be God, I'm going to ascend God, I'm going to do what my father tells me to do. And she doesn't know that basically means to be a host for a virus. She doesn't know that because she's like 16, 17, that we see in the end of the series. But they're saying that Kaoru because of how bad she looked. And there is nothing disputing this memory. The only thing that really is the fact that he thought of it way in the first episode, like a little flashback. And when Dr. Westman said these were all fake memories, therefore that could be fake as well. But she was quadriplegic. The experiment did fail, and he confirmed it failing. So therefore that did happen. So therefore Kaoru killed Mayumi for her own good. But for some reason Westman brought her back to life. It took him 10 years. So that's why it took him so long, because he had to bring his daughter back to life, back to snuff, back to speed, to get to full form that she was 10 years ago. And when he finally does it, she remembers everything and kills off her own father. And it all worked out, except when Kaoru ran up to her, trapped in that contraption, she changed course. And the only reason why it worked was because her willpower to see Kaoru again once in this lifetime woke her out of her coma, for lack of better words. So when finally confronted with Kaoru, she shuts down the whole Zen plan, kills her father, and then tells Kaoru, please kill me, like this clip here, and it ends up the whole series. If you have the financial means to do this to your daughter, you can find a way to be a terrorist in a more efficient manner. I don't know. It just seems like he's just doing this because he's just bored. All in all, though, it still is a good series. I highly recommend you watch it, even though I have been rambling confusingly for the better part of 40 minutes right now. It's gonna be like 10 minutes to you, but 40 minutes to me, and I still like it. I'm probably gonna rewatch this joint. It's amazing, bro. It ends off though kind of poetically with this line here: after all, our feelings don't die. And that's presupposed to seeing Kaoru, Alice, and Mayumi in the TV, i.e. implying that they're in this corporeal dimension, loving each other happily ever after. The end. Any questions, class? Yes, you over there. Oh, so what happened to the robots? Right, so they don't mention it either. They don't really mention what they do with this new technology that they now know works. Like, Alice came through a window and saved all those women from that one hostage I mentioned like 40 minutes ago from, dying. She took a shot to the dome, ate that junk, and kept it going. There's one thing I forgot to mention. So, Alice is a robot, right? But she has sexual capabilities, albeit to be the one that's a party pooper. But you gotta have the ability to have your robot to have sexual lubrication operations and the ability to orgasm, because it's tough out there. They need to blow off steam too, pun intended, I guess, because they're a robot, and therefore sexual functions are there and activated. Now, their ability to have their personality taken over that quickly is very odd to me. They need to fix that quirk, but from what they're telling me, they're never doing robots again. I guess they learned a lesson and they haven't just thought about it. The ending was so abrupt though that they're not even going to let us see what the society is like after Zen is now a dead virus, because Mayumi was in. And yeah, another question. What's up? Oh, that's a good question. If Mayumi was such a good host that she knew about Zen to take over the world, and that memory was real that we were showing the flashback between Kaoru and her, then what happened to make her quadriplegic? Oh, this was actually a very simple one. You already know who it is. So this one, they show it in a clip where when she was hooked up to originally do Zen 10 years ago, all that data transmitting through her body made it overload, and she blew up and all of her limbs blew off during that explosion. Her recovering in that bed as a quadriplegic was in response to her losing all her limbs because she's overexerted. But yeah, alright guys, I don't have an outro, but if I did, it wouldn't matter because no one makes this around this video. Good night. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm so sorry if you don't understand anything I said, but this series is it's so complex. It's a lot going on. It's very engaging, very enthralling. A lot of hot sex. And yeah, it's top tier. If I were to honestly rate it, it'd have to be an 8 out of 10 for these hentai specifically. It's one of the better ones I saw so far. And like I said before, I'd probably watch it again. And also on top of that, it's probably gonna make my top 2 of the year list so far, because I am going to be watching a lot more of the series because this is just more fun to me now. I'm enjoying this. This is phenomenal. It's fantastic. I'm rambling now. See you later.